Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce and this is our news portion of the week. I like to gather the latest in science fiction, fantasy, books, book news, media news, little channel update maybe I'll throw in here and there. Just kind of what's going on. It's a good opportunity. It's not dissimilar to a certain fantasy news. The first bit of news that I thought was very important as a Malazan fan, it would be an update from Steven Erikson. He has very thoughtful posts that he does mostly on his Facebook page, and so he's got another one of those up that it's, you know, they're lengthy to a degree, but I really like them because you really get into his thought process and what's kind of surrounding things. So he's talking about his newest book, the second book in the Witness trilogy, the Karsa Orlong trilogy. If you know about Karsa, he's a controversial character. Love him or hate him, there doesn't seem to be a lot of in between. Anyway, and so he's got his own trilogy. The God Is Not Willing is the first book that has already come out, and this next book, No Life Forsaken, which I totally knew the title of before just looking up this bit of news today. I'm not a bad Malazan fan. But anyway, Erikson goes into a bit about just legacy in general, and kind of, I don't know, it's almost scary because he talks about, hey, guess what? When I started Malazan, there was nothing. It was me and my friend, Ian C. Esselmont, gaming out this whole world, and it was something that just was unique to us. Nobody else in the world knew much about it. It was just, well, anything about it. It was just us. And he's like, and now that whether he's lost, you know, readers or gained, I like to say, quite a healthy amount of readers, I would say, and as I think one of the more popular fantasy series out there to date, he kind of goes into this, hey, you know, I can really kind of incorporate the fact that, you know, my readers know the history. If they're reading this, they're probably going to, I mean, they technically can just jump into this trilogy alone and, you know, without having read anything else, but likely they've read some other things in the world, and I can kind of use that. So I'm like, so does that mean we're going to get even more dropped in the middle of some crazy thing? I don't know. No, it does seem like it's more just to kind of use that as maybe just a good reference material or whatever. But anyway, just a good article. Obviously, he's going to do a better job of explaining that than my dumb explanation here. In George R. R. Martin news, I was really hoping to get something more, but he has COVID and maybe he doesn't anymore. And those are the updates from his Not a Blog, and then a lot of other things that, anyway, hope he gets better. It does seem like he didn't catch too rough of a version of it. It gets concerning because I remember when Robert Jordan passed away, and immediately everyone went, George, you finishing your books? And which obviously not always the most appropriate way to deal with, you know, somebody literally passing away, but it's how a lot of fandoms reacted here at the time. And George was just like, that's not going to be me. We don't need to figure out who's finishing off my series, because I'm pretty sure he's planning on having it die with him. Another book news, Snow Crash is getting a 30th anniversary edition. This is Neil Stephenson. This is kind of like the birth of cyberpunk, I guess, if you could call it that. I read it relatively recently. I wasn't a big fan. I don't know, maybe I just didn't get it, even just down to the protagonist, the hero of the book being named hero protagonist. Things were just going over my head. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. Maybe it's a bit dated, and that was the problem, but it was fine. I didn't hate it. It just didn't knock me off my feet or blow my socks off. I sometimes feel like David from the Reckoners series by Brandon Sanderson in that I am terrible at remembering a good simile or metaphor. Anyway, if you caught the Brandon Sanderson live stream last night, it looks like the Dragon Steel convention is really selling out if it hasn't already sold out by the time this even gets out there. So you may have to get tickets another way, a different way, but does seem very popular, very cool that he does this. I think it's a great idea. I was debating whether I can go, but it's just kind of bad season. I think I got to just be on the ball next year. I am actually relatively close, being in Colorado, the neighboring state to where Sanderson is. Thought some interesting kind of book news. The DOJ. Let's get into legal stuff. It's super fun. That's what I do this for. But the DOJ is apparently a little bit concerned about some mergers in the book world, especially monopoly-wise. It's Penguin Random House apparently trying to acquire Simon & Schuster, and it's like, it's already in the name, Penguin Random House. They did this before. Now Simon & Schuster. It is... Let's see. John Mayer is kind of doing a live tweet of the case, and so it's really it's kind of interesting. It's more interesting for me to get kind of some of the authors' takes on it. One of them being, hey, they're always going to promise, oh, we're going to keep all the backlist of everything, and then it's like inevitably somebody's getting trashed, and it happens every time, not just sometimes. So it's concerning. It's always one of those that I can't see how there's really a good outcome, at least for the readers. I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't seem like it, and definitely not the authors. So maybe if somebody can come up with one, I don't see one. All right, let's jump into the media section of our news. And I think first thing is Andor, just that I was looking at the Andor series that's going to be on Disney Plus, the Star Wars Andor, which, it's definitely getting to a place of, do we need more? Sure, it's Star Wars, and I think they've been doing a good job with these kind of series here. It has Diego Luna, so I'm pretty much on board. Rogue One was awesome, one of my favorites, especially of the newer Star Wars movies. But it's been delayed, and it seems like it's just was more delayed because, as my next news will point out, this is just like a really heavy time for kind of the fantasy science fiction arena. I mean, literally we've got Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings series coming September 2nd. House of the Dragon is coming August 21st. And it's just kind of a big time for some of these big series that are going to be distracting a lot of people who will not be probably watching Star Wars as much. So anyway, I'm fine with it. I got plenty to watch, plenty to do, and I still haven't even watched the Obi-Wan. That's how delayed I am, and just I think it's more how much I care, / a little bit busy, still busy here. All right, Wheel of Time already have news that it's been renewed for a 3rd season, so that's good news. That's good news. I was hoping all the best for it, as lukewarm or almost like, I don't even know how to describe my feelings on loving and hating for the first season as I was. Then we'll see how this goes, but hey, 3rd season, that's got to be good. Hopefully we can get things back on track a little bit. That's my goal. That's my hope here. Okay. Interesting news in the MCU. I kind of relate it. It's all science fiction, right? They go into space. There is. I just learned about that. There's apparently going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I don't know if they're just making a joke because of the Star Wars special. I assume that's kind of the only thing that comes to mind. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. That's height of the MCU for me. So I'm excited for more of that, and especially with the 3rd movie coming out, sometime. At least it's getting worked on somewhat. Anyway, it will be coming out in the future. really helpful here with this news. But the MCU did kind of announce this like huge, like here's phases 5 and 6 and probably up to 27. And I found a really good article on the Wirt Zone that kind of describes it all, and I'll link you there because that's going to do a way better job than I will. It's so many things. More Ant-Man that I saw that kind of stuck out to me. The Daredevil Born Again. Yeah, Daredevil Born Again. There's been some kind of news. There's 18 episodes planned, so that's kind of cool. But again, we're talking like more like 2023, 2024 even into that arena. But it's exciting. There's lots. If you like the MCU, then there's lots to get, to have. And I haven't even gotten into what's currently available with and what's coming up next. What, the She-Hulk one, Attorney at Law. I have mixed feelings just because as a lawyer, I get frustrated very easily with law shows that are just so inaccurate. They're so bad. I know it's because my job is not entertaining. It's not fun. And then just briefly as a channel update, I am planning, I've been meaning to have, since we reached 1,000 subscribers a little bit ago, and now we're fully into 1,000 and more. I wanted to do a live stream, maybe a Q&A, and so maybe I'll post some a thread on my Discord to kind of get some questions for that going. So anyway, that will be upcoming. I just got to plan it and get it going. It's just so hard to really schedule anything right now for me. School's coming up. We're trying to sell a house. We're trying to buy a house. We're trying to move, which is just so delightful. And then anyway, we'll see how this goes. So things are just going well. We're having a blast, and it's just great to be making videos again after my vacation. This is really fun. All right. Well, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Bye.